Pauper to the People is brought to you by MTG Madness. You can visit them online at mtgmadness.com.
This is Pauper to the People, and with me is Peter.
Hello.
Chris.
Hello.
And the newest member of our team, Mr. Dan Horner.
Hi guys, Horning!
Again!
Dan Horning, sorry, Horning. Chris, edit that out.
No!
Alright.
No, you will leave it, we will make fun of Nate.
Shut up. You just pick on me anyway, what difference does it make?
Then why try to edit it out?
And with us is special guest, JPHSnake.
Yo, what's up?
How's everybody doing tonight?
Great.
Pretty well.
That's good. So what's everyone up to this week, Peter?
I was solitary and goldfishing some Pauper stuff for that one tournament you're talking about, but apparently I forgot that it's only online rules, so no Pauper tied for me, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, pulled the saxophone again and started having some fun with that thing.
Okay. Chris?
Man, I've just been winning a lot of Magic recently. Published on 2 of the 8-man results for the days, and played Theros Block Constructed. You know, I figure I need another source of income now that they're not giving us Pauper dailies.
Yeah.
So, played Theros Block Constructed, went 3-1 in that event. I don't remember which day that was, but...
Yeah. It's cool.
Tiger's Blood. It's epic. Yeah, and you know, other than that, family stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Dan, what have you been up to?
I've been switching podcasts. When the daily events went away, I realized that as I play in the weeks, then I can't play the competitive events. So I have embraced my casual side here and joined you guys.
That's awesome.
Hey.
Welcome to the group.
Thank you.
And Jack, what have you been up to?
Well, let's see. I've been doing some brewing, I guess, for trying to set up my next article. But other than that, like lots of social media events going on. Apparently, like we're supposed to be promoting our new TV show, King of the Nerds. So yeah. So here's like this shameless self-promotion for myself and TPS and everything that goes well with that.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. Playing what kind? Any sneak peek to what deck you're working on?
Right now, like I am. I guess like right now I'm trying to work on like. I guess I'm trying to work on a new freed from the real deck, like this one going with Voyaging Satyr and Arbor Elf, along with all those enchant lands that produce colored mana. So, I mean, like, I'm trying to decide whether I like that or like the original Love Train brew I made like a few months ago or better. So, right now I can't really decide. I mean, there's a lot of hate going on with all these like 1/1 creatures. You know, I can't ever land a 1/1. It's like come on, Arbor Elf never stays alive. That's the problem.
My vote's on Love Trade just because of the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like I don't really know what.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't hear your question.
I just said that I have to love the Love Train.
Yeah, I gotta love the Love Train too. You know, it's but yeah, no, I'm trying to. I guess I'm trying to do. I'm trying to brew I'm trying to brew with like fertile grounds and stuff like that. And I guess with the next Dwelling on the Past article, I will be Urza's block, and I guess technically fertile ground is an Urza Saga card. So yeah, yeah, that.
I actually. The Dwelling on the Past articles I actually really, really like because, like, obviously, if you've heard me talk on the show before, like, I donate plasma, and that's when I actually read articles. And it's like, I just love reading this article because I'm started playing Magic in, like, 95 when Ice Age was still out. So all the cards you're talking about just bring back fond memories. So I spent a lot of time reading them when I'm donating.
I'm glad that my articles are great when when your brain isn't getting enough oxygen, I guess.
Well, no, it's plasma. I'm getting enough oxygen. It's different.
Oh yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
It's just
You need something to do. You sit there for like 45 minutes to an hour. I need something to do. So I play MTGO every once in a while, but it's really, really hard to actually use the touchpad with on my laptop because I hate using it. So
You've got two hands. How is it difficult?
you can't move the other arm because there's an IV in it.
Yeah, I know, but you still have one free hand. What are you doing with it?
I don't like using the touchpad. I don't like using it at all. It's just I hate the touchpad on the laptop. I think it's the stupidest mouse system ever invented. So, but yeah, you're a dirty, dirty freak.
What? I was just curious what you're doing with the other hand. What do you think I was talking about?
Shut up, Peter. All right. So, what have I been up to? Getting ready for the February tournament. Haven't decided if I want to use Affinity or Delver. They have announced on that tournament that the winner's going to walk away with the Mox Pearl, and second place will get a booster box, and it's a straight up MTG. It's a Pauper event, but it's in paper. But they're using MTGO rules, so Hymn to Turok and all that are out. I'm really torn between both decks because I really like Delver Blue, and I think I think it stands more of a chance of winning than Affinity, as much as I like Affinity. So I'm not sure yet. I've been playing a lot of MTGO, testing both out, seeing which one, because like I gotta decide what deck I'm gonna use soon because I'm gonna spend the next rest of this month and next month just playing that deck and that deck only. So by the time I get to this tournament, I don't have to really think about it that much because I've played the deck so much that I'm comfortable just playing it without having to question all my plays. Because it's a $25 tournament, and we're talking about a $600 to $1,000 card. So I want to make sure I'm playing really, really good.
So how many rounds is this tournament supposed to be?
I think it's they're still working the details out, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be 4 to 5 rounds to top 8, depending on how many people show up.
I mean, I think either Delver or Affinity are just excellent decks for that long of a stretch. It just depends on what you like to do in your deck more. I think Delver's a stronger deck, obviously, but
yeah. I mean, the thing is, I can play both decks. It's not a matter of like me playing one deck better than the other. I can play both decks effectively, but my biggest concern with this tournament is draws. And like I was talking to Dan earlier, and Affinity, you can have bad draws with Affinity. And with my Delver deck, every time I've played my Delver deck, like if I have an island and a preordain, I'm ready to go. It really doesn't matter. It's like island preordain, good to go.
yep.
I don't need anything else. I mean, that's my only worry is the dead draw.
Yeah.
So, but I mean that's my biggest concern is not playing the deck but just opening hands. And Delver seems to have better opening hands than Affinity does. So I'm not sure yet though. I'm still up in the air on it.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah, and other than that, just getting Christmas stuff with because everyone's coming to our house and just doing all that stuff. But yeah, that's all I've really been up to.
Yeah.
But
So now, what I think we get to what everybody was waiting for. With Jack.
Go for it.
Hey, Jack.
Awesome. Hey.
It's all about you, buddy.
Oh, yay.
So it's kind of unfortunate that you happen to get this big role, this big thing happen to you in your life, and meanwhile all that the Pauper community even gives a crap about is the daily events and premiere events and everything like that. And
yeah, it's all right.
I think you got it kind of lost in your announcement got kind of lost in the mix, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show is because you are a pretty big contributor to the community. You've had a couple of successful brews, and you're brewing with cards that nobody else is. I mean, not even David Schaffer is brewing with some of the cards that you're brewing with. And
thanks, yeah. I guess it's different because I guess I don't know, it depends. I play a little. My goal is a little bit different than most of the other people in the MTGO community because rather than being a spike, I guess, and going for the EVs and stuff, I'm a Johnny, I gotta. I just Pauper's I think one of those really good brewing formats just because it's really affordable to do all these brews. You can't bring a legacy. You can't make a random legacy brew every week because you're gonna be bankrupt, unless you have all that cash to spend. So I think I think for me, I just see Pauper as just a good canvas to brew in, and I think that's a good reason. I have started brewing in heirloom too, but that's another story. But yeah, I do understand all the fuss about daily events being gone and all the controversy, and it's it's kind of sad, I guess. But yeah, I just hope that everyone's not arguing with each other rather than argue with wizards all you want, but probably. Yeah, but hating each other is probably a bad idea.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of controversy right now between some of the big Pauper names, but we're not going to go into that too much. It's
I
mean, it's way more than
I know. Gotcha.
Than the content of this show. But I mean, so we talked about it a little bit right there. You're a brewer for Pauper and Magic the Gathering in general, right? It's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
That's your thing. So how did you get started playing Magic?
Oh, I got started playing Magic. I don't know. I was in 6th or 7th grade, what was I doing in 6th or 7th grade? I guess there was a summer program where we just I guess we were taking I guess we were I was in some kind of summer camp, and one of the counselors had Magic cards and taught us all how to play Magic, and I was so stoked to play Magic, I guess, and but I didn't my parents really didn't want to buy me all these cards, and actually what I started doing is what I did is I tried to find the cheapest cards I could find, and at that time sadly it was Portal's 3 Kingdoms. So yeah,
nice. The most expensive set in Magic right now.
Yeah, no, I started out buying a bunch of Portal's 3 Kingdoms cards, and that was so I made my first deck, and I was yeah, and apparently, everyone was wait, why are you playing cards with horsemanship? We can't block those things. And it's yeah, and I guess everyone thought my deck was unfair because I was playing 5 mana 3/3s with horsemanship. So yeah, no kidding, man. Everyone thought, oh yeah, horsemanship should be errata to flying or something like that. This was all obviously very casual Magic, and apparently no one had anything to do with horsemanship. So yeah, and that's how I started playing Magic, was basically playing a bunch of crappy Portal's 3 Kingdoms cards. I mean, yeah, I don't even remember if I have any really. I don't think I have any of the really valuable Zodiac Dragon cards. I guess. Those things are unfortunately a little bit too rare for me, but yeah, that's how I started playing Magic, and since then, I've been pretty much on and off on playing Magic, depending on how much work I actually have to do, and but yeah, I didn't get into Magic Online probably until I guess 2012 or yeah, something like that. Actually, I think Dan Horning got me inspired because of his videos, so congrats, Dan. Yeah, and I started. Okay, I could do something with this format. So I really didn't play much when the Storm metagame was out. Not the Fissure Post, but the real the Empty the Warren stuff. I didn't really play much then, but I think I started really playing Magic when it was when Fissure Post was dominating. So I think the first time I really tried to make a brew that was competitive was Suicide White, which I got some 4-0s with it, and it was pretty cool. It was just a white deck that was fast enough to beat Fissure. So yeah, and that was so then I guess the rest is history. I started writing more and started brewing more. Apparently, people started liking the brews, and So yeah, and I entered a bunch of brews in the Pauper Gauntlet, and yeah, I guess that's I started the Dwelling on the Past series just because it's from my goal in Magic is to break cards and find new ways to use them. And what better way than to go through all of Magic's history and find the good ones,
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Some of your brews are a little bit too casual for me. I'm a Spike, but the Hunting Cheetah was really it looked fun, but I was like, no, this is never gonna work.
Yeah, okay. You find a card in Masters Edition that hasn't been overplayed, and then make a good deck, and then tell me about it. Okay, some of the sets are impossible.
There's some slim pickings out there.
Yeah, I know. What am I supposed to brew with, man?
Oubliette Dreamstalker, go. Totally abuse the Oubliette bug.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that other people have been brewing with Dreamstalker. I gotta be unique,
Yeah.
Wants to think outside the box.
Alrighty, fine.
Yeah.
So
once someone I guess I'm kind of like a Magic hipster too. I guess once someone starts using it a lot, then it's not cool anymore, right?
God.
Dude, isn't Magic hipster to begin with?
What?
Isn't Magic hipster to begin with?
I don't know. Actually,
it rules the world. It rules the world.
See,
I guess Magic is from what I've known, I guess it seems to be Magic is that nerdy thing that lots of nerds don't really associate with, I guess, because nerds generally want to be Star Trek, Star Wars geeks, and and if at most the fantasy would be Dungeons and Dragons, so I guess Magic is just some kind of side hobby, I guess, for some people. So yeah, I guess so.
What was it? I was talking to someone or some other kid, I remember, at the hotel, and he's like, "Yeah, Magic is a select group of people." I'm like, "Yeah, Magic. The Magic crowd is kind of an elitist group."
Yeah, it's and then you get even more elite too. The farther back since you played Magic, I used to play in Tempest Block. And I was like, "Wow, that's cool." But I came to Magic when Weatherlight and Mirage were out. So, how about that? It's the first card I ever drooled over was Grinning Totem. How about that? What you got now? And then my buddy would be like, "Yeah, well, I once held a Black Lotus. How about that?" Oh man, you got me.
No, I've just seen some conversations where someone's like, "Oh, I get into video games a lot," and then you have that one Magic player who's like, "Yeah, well, I play Magic," and his attitude's like, "I'm just freaking better than you. I don't care."
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, Magic is something that really, I don't know. It's just actually, this is from experience. I think a lot of nerds yes, being on a TV show, King of the Nerds, Magic doesn't necessarily seem to be doesn't seem to have that much prestige,
Yeah, no. Unless you're pro level or something, and then you might have a little bit of prestige.
Yeah.
What had prestige on King of the Nerds? What's the prestigious nerd thing?
Well, I guess, I don't know. King of the Nerds is just a competition where we do random events, random, contests to see who is better than the other person at being a nerd, I guess. I don't really know how that equates in real life, but I guess you have you just have events. I think some of the ones that you might have seen on the preview, there was you got to see me blow up something. So that is an event that
Nice.
would translate to King of the Nerds. But yeah, and there are some pretty but I think in King of the Nerds, as far as the cast is concerned, it seems that in card game wise, I think Magic has to take a backseat to Pokemon and maybe Yu-Gi-Oh too. So.
That's kind of sad.
That's kind of sad.
Really? Are Magic, are Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon I can understand, but is Yu-Gi-Oh! More popular?
Yu-Gi-Oh's dying.
I thought so.
Yeah, but it has an anime on it. There's an anime attached to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, yeah, I suppose. You got that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the cast members is is like Josh Wittencolor, J-Wits, who has a Pokemon channel and like plays Pokemon, the card game, pretty competitively. Yeah.
Huh. You see, I just give my kids Pokemon cards and they rip them up. I mean, my kids could have like a $40 mythic Pokemon or something, and they're in there like throwing them at each other, because that's what kids do with Pokemon cards. I have no idea. Like, I
It's
give
the
my
best
kids
version of Pokemon ever. Whip them at each other.
Yeah. Like my kids, I get them like a pack of Pokemon cards every once in a while, right? We're at like Target or something, and they're really good. I try to do like positive reinforcement parenting as much as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not afraid to yell and stick the kids in the corner and stuff like that, but I try to do like positive reinforcement training. Like if they're not completely annoying and making me want to completely leave the store and hang my head in shame, then I might get them something on the way out.
Yeah.
Good idea. Good idea.
I find Hot Wheels cars works. It's awesome. They're like 97 cents.
I have 8-year-old and a 6-year-old girl.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Get her Hot Wheels.
Get her Hot Wheels.
I have a 1-year-old son, and he's not quite to the Hot Wheel stage yet. He would attempt
Start
to
him
eat
early.
them. He would attempt to eat them and choke on them. So he's not quite smart enough for Hot Wheels yet. So hey, Jack, you mentioned about a job and everything. So what do you do for a living?
Oh, what do I do for a living? I am an MD PhD student, so like I am getting my PhD in bioengineering, and I am also a medical student, so I'm studying to be a doctor as well.
Are you going to make the zombie strain?
Jeez.
Maybe one of these days, like when the world pisses me off,
Yeah.
Damn you.
Yeah, so like the idea is just don't piss me off, right? Come on. Although, like, actually, yeah, it is part of, like, I guess, like, one of the, a potential career path is actually to work for the CDC and, like, go for and, like, basically play the game Pandemic in real life,
It's a fun game.
Okay, so this is what's happening. If the zombie apocalypse ever happens, I'm going to find your house, and that's where I'm living. And bring the zombies to you.
Yeah, but I might be the one causing the zombie apocalypse, which might be, in that case, it would probably not be the best idea.
No.
Yeah,
If he's causing this,
probably-
he's got the entire like Fallout plan based out. It's like, okay, we're gonna start it here. I'm gonna chill over here. I've got locked away. I've got plenty of supplies. People are gonna come knocking at my door. Doesn't matter. Plenty of zombies around me. They'll get munched down soon enough. I'll go up with the spoils.
Put a whole bunch of treadmills around your house, you'll be fine.
Pretty much. So the zombie's worst nightmare.
So you gotta realize that if Jack
That's a
creates
good
the
one.
zombie apocalypse, he's probably gonna be the first one infected.
This is true.
Because he's not gonna realize that he created the zombie virus.
It's just this is weird. I'm hungry. I want to go bite out of you. Oh, I'm sorry. Whatever.
Yeah. Given that, so basically what you're saying, Jack, is that you are a full-time student. You are rapidly accruing debt. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, actually, I do not have any debt, because, like, my medical school and my PhD program are funded, so...
Ooh,
Sweet.
that's
Nice.
So,
lucky.
yeah, I mean, I have a salary. Like, yeah.
Oh, you have a salary? How do you have a salary doing students work?
Because I guess for the MD PhD programs, like I guess because like I mean, first of all, MD PhD programs are like 8 years long after undergrad, so like it really is a huge strain on like time. It's a huge strain time wise. So like so like really like one of the ways to get people to do MD PhD is to fund them.
That sounds
Like
really
I mean.
cool.
So,
Yeah.
so I actually have so I have like funding for medical school. I don't have to pay for medical school, and I get a salary as well.
Yeah, I know someone we have a guy that used to come to the dugout all the time. He was a level 3 judge for Wizards, and he was like that. He just got all his grants and stuff because he's crazy smart, and he pretty much gets paid to go to school.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, so-
there you go. So you're funded. So why did you decide to go on King of the Nerds for the $100,000 prize? I mean, $100,000 is nice, but
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like, who wouldn't want to go for $100,000?
Exactly.
Yeah, and also, like, the other thing is that, like, I mean, like, first of all, like when I looked it up, it looked like a joke at first, you know. Like I thought it was kind of like, oh, haha, maybe yeah, it'll be fun to be on TV once, you know. Like it was like one of those things. I just like sent them like a blurb about myself, not really expecting anything to go through. But like actually, like 10 minutes after I sent that blurb in, like one of the casting people called me and told me you should like send in an audition tape and like. And really, like, my audition tape, I don't think I can show it to you yet, like, maybe until after, like, the series is over, but, like, yeah, my audition tape was real. I basically, what I did, I just got my friend to videotape me for 20 minutes, and I sent that in, and I guess, like, I showed, like, my skills in whatever my MD PhD program is, Magic the Gathering, my other hobbies, like fencing and stuff like that, so, yeah, I showed them like an audition video, and once so then like apparently like a few days, weeks later, I think like I got called again saying that, oh, you should fly out to Los Angeles because we're having our final interviews, like I think with like 20 people, and so yeah, and then after that, like I did a producer interview, and those people were like, dude, you're so awesome, and or I don't actually know what they said, but like apparently, but I got to show off my skills. I don't know, like what I had to do some performances in front of the producers. Like I tried to rap the periodic table. So yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, actually, like like they told us like to compare ourselves to Magic. I told me to compare myself to a Magic the Gathering card, like, and how you would be on the show. And I think I chose Delver of Secrets. So,
the card that makes everybody happy.
I know. And actually, I think like, and I think if you watch the show, you might actually see me do a good Delver of Secrets impersonation.
Wow,
nice.
That is so sweet.
But yeah, so like that's how. What?
So in honor of you, Jack, I'm totally changing the card art on my MTGO Delver of Secrets to you.
All right. But yeah, so maybe during the show you'll see when I flip.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah, so like that's how the audition process goes, and like really like the thing is that like I think after the audition process, like we didn't really have any time to relax or anything like that. They just like told us like one day we were gonna see each other like for the first times, like me and the other nerds, and we had basically what they literally do for reality TV is they literally just like make you meet you are literally meeting for the first time on camera, and they just tell you to do the challenges like firsthand, like right off the bat. Like they don't like they are like reality TV is actually a little bit more real than I thought it was, really. Like they made sure that like I didn't know anybody, and like I had to find out like on camera who everybody was and how to play my game, you know, and like how to win, you know. So
I've always wondered, like, you know, if you watch reality TV shows, you'll see a lot of the time that you have the I don't know how to else to better word it, the real world segments, right, where you have the one person sitting off to the side and they send off their comments about what's exactly happened at that point in time. Do you have that on the show?
Yeah, you mean confessionals?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, we do have confessionals. Like, yeah, like really, like during filming, like the confessionals are the only time that you are allowed to say whatever you want without anyone else hearing you, and like so that's actually a very important part. Like, and like we did like 3 or 4 of these interviews a day, and like each one was like 40 minutes long. Like every other time, like I guess like all the rest of the time on set is just basically a cameraman follows you around, and you get mic'd up, and you have to like, and then like so everything you say, everything you do is they can and will probably be used against you, and like yeah. So like I mean like at first it's kind of like a bit like. It's kind of nerve-wracking, but then like eventually like you don't really notice that around, you know. It's just like, well, I mean, hey, I got a camera on me and I got a mic on me, yeah. So what? I do swear a lot, like more than I normally. I don't really swear like much on like in like real life, but apparently like I think if you see my promo and stuff like that, I do swear a lot. So
yeah, I watched your promo the other day, and I was like, really? It's kind of funny. I think about people who play MTGO, and especially MTGO, and I think, why would they have problems getting girls? You know, like it just seemed like it was so like natural to like me, and David Schaffer is another guy who I podcast with. He's got a girlfriend, and Dan has a wife, and Nate has a wife, and Peter is bisexual, so I'm not really sure. So, it just seems really weird to me, like watching to you, and I'm thinking, like, this is a normal guy. Like, how does he have problems with girls? And I don't understand, Jack. What happened?
Well, first of all, like you got to realize that a lot of that stuff is exaggerated.
Yeah. I know that.
What?
Yeah, you didn't realize. You didn't know that people like
You
don't
shattered
know
the
that
reality.
people actually like edit things to make it look cooler or funnier or lamer than it actually is. And like for that promo video, like a lot of for the pickup line that I famously messed up on, that was a blooper. Like I thought that was a blooper, but apparently like my blooper reel made it on for national television. So like and that's you never know what they're gonna show off you. What
was your famous
so
pickup line?
What?
What was the famous pickup line you messed up again?
Oh, I wish I were DNA helicase so I could unzip your jeans.
I love the chiming.
I didn't say it that way at first, so apparently so that was like a big focal point of like their personality to me. So your MTGO player is going to be a comic relief character, it seems.
Oh, that's fine. Whatever. We still loved you. I mean, you made the love train. It was the subject of a very funny YouTube video. Dan, you should totally link that one. Shameless
Oh, really?
plug. Yeah. The famous video where Dan sings the love train.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. It's a good one.
That might or might not have happened.
May or may not have involved
Dan's trying to forget the past.
It was dude. The love train was yeah, and I really, really enjoyed that Pauper Gauntlet run with love train. I mean, going 8-0, and before falling in third. It's yeah, dude, Dan, good job.
Good job brewing that deck. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I know. I think I guess I don't know. It's just one of those little engines that could, because I did not think it was actually going to go that far at all. But apparently I guess my decks can surprise me sometimes, even in good ways.
Yeah, David Schaffer, I was talking with him about some of your brews, and he was like, when I pick up JPHSnake's brews, I'm just I'm thinking oh yeah, this is fine and everything, and then as he's playing the deck, he notices little synergies and stuff that you obviously pretty much put there intentionally, but are just not that apparent whenever you first look at the deck list that you brew. So
yeah, I guess that's those are those things that you have to worry about when you brew, and I think that's just it's an important part of brewing. I think that's a big part, I think, in terms of, how to make a successful brew. You can't just, a lot of people just, look at one or two interactions and be okay, those are going to be the good interactions I'm going to focus the rest of my deck on. But really, I think what the little synergies are what make a brew successful or not successful,
Yeah.
I think you have another skill, actually, as a brewer. On my YouTube channel, I don't brew much, but I talk to a lot of brewers. And your play instruction guide for Love Train was a unique piece of work. It was amazing. It was the best instructions for playing a Magic deck I ever seen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. Love Train is I'm gonna try to fix Love Train, but I don't know, with the new mono black control with the Gray Merchants, it's just one turn too fast, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I was fine with the mono black, the MBC with corrupt and stuff like that, but with the Gray Merchant, just because Love Train doesn't play removal, so it's just so it's just once they hit the 5 mana for Gray Merchant, it's just it's just not fair anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Because you don't have removal. You can't like remove all their double black creatures or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So I linked another Love Train brew in the Skype chat there, JPHSnake. It got second in this play run event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think this guy probably took some inspiration from you because I know he definitely watches my videos. You shouldn't like
the
the
voyage and
yeah, he's got the Voyaging Satyr and all that other in the Freed from the Real. He's running Giga Drows and
Giga Drows.
Thoughts. Yeah, so this guy's going for the Arbor Elf Voyaging Satyr mix for his Love Train brew, but looks fine. So I figured you might want to check that out and see if you want to expound upon his list.
Brew with it too. Like I think I'm really trying to decide like which way I'm gonna go. Like if I'm gonna go pure combo with that and like just like be one and done as a combo, or like do a more aggro route. Like I guess with like if you make like 20 some mana, like you can play 4 Aurochs Herds, right, and then win next turn. Like that's a viable win condition, right? Especially with like mono black control.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just trying to right now. Like one of the things I really want to know, like one of the things with like Freed from the Real decks is what to do with infinite mana. Actually, like I mean, like I guess like one of the things is that like is the format slow enough that you don't necessarily need to win the turn you go off, especially if you're going to go off on turn 2 or 3. You know, so
yeah, I'd like.
So
to
I mean, yeah.
So there's,
yeah, and
there's
also
two ways you can go with combo decks right now. It's do you want the consistent turn 4 or 5, or do you want the risky turn 2 or 3?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's one of those things, and I guess like right now, I think that's like the difference between like the new Free from the Real brews with Voyaging Satyr, which is a lot riskier but also faster, and I think the original Love Train, which is. I mean, like with all those, like with every creature being at least 3 toughness, it's like really, it is actually a lot more. It's actually more resilient. It's a lot more resilient than like most people give it credit for. So,
yeah, you just you run into the same disruption problem that the all the combo decks have, and
yeah. So I guess I really like the thing for me is like I don't know whether or not to do an aggro route. Like if I don't have the combo, I can just like play a bunch of things like Aurochs Herds or something like that, and just beat them down, or or just like say, screw it, I'm just gonna try to disrupt their disruption, you know?
Yeah. So I think the biggest problem that I see with all the Free from the Real decks is that they just you have to protect a creature, right? You have to protect your Arbor Elf or your Axebane Guardian or your Voyaging Satyr for a turn. And that's really rough with mono-black control, and with affinity cycling through their deck. As soon as they know what you are, then they're going to save that Galvanic Blast. So.
Yeah, but I mean, like the one good thing about it is that there are still a lot of people who do not know this deck. So I mean, like it's it's pretty like sometimes like you can't just get a free win just because you don't like the other guy doesn't know what you're doing yet.
Yeah,
until it's too late.
You always get free wins off of things like that. So I've been running mono blue control recently in Ks, and people don't know how to sideboard against mono blue control. They think that they sideboard the exact same way that they do against Delver, but that's not the way it works at all, right? Like you can't sideboard the same because mono blue control is not relying on spell stretch sprites to counter spells. They're using hard counter spells and stuff like that. So I've had people miss sideboard against me a lot. Like if there was a Azorius Kitty player who sideboarded Circle of Protection blue against me, playing mono blue control. I'm like, I don't care. I've got Spire Golems. I've rank 4 Spire Golems. I can beat through. It doesn't matter. You're running those Circle of Protections. So, yeah, it's always good to have rogues, a rogue deck, because people will miss sideboard against you a lot. And I hear, you guys watch Grand Prix coverage, the Orzhov control player.
Yeah.
He won a lot of his matches because people just sideboarded as if he was mono black control, or as if he was a mono black devotion deck, and so people would bring in things that were good against mono black devotion that weren't necessarily good against his deck as the Orzhov player. So.
Yeah, no, actually, when I play whatever brew I'm playing, I do get a lot of that. I think I get a lot of WTF sideboard cards.
Yeah.
Actually brought that against me is So, well, it's one of those things that, like, yeah, that is like the one competitive advantage of having a rogue brew is just like no one really knows how to play against it. And so, like, as long as you keep, I guess, like, if you're me, who's kind of like neurotic and tries to play a different deck like every 2 weeks or something like that, it's people really, like, I guess, like, when they're like, I guess when a lot of people play me, I think I've heard that, like, yeah, no one knows what I'm playing, so, like, they just, like, don't really know how to play against me, I guess. But then again, since I don't have, like, since I'm playing a brew every 2 weeks, I have to, like, really I don't know if I don't play my own brews optimally either. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's getting really hard.
Yeah, it's really hard, like, especially because, like, especially because I'm brewing, like, different types of decks, aggro, combo, control, you know, it's, you get, like, and, like, the thing is that you have to, like, have different mindsets every time, and, and I guess, like, the thing is that, like, because I want to make a new deck all the time, and it's just, like, it's just really hard to keep up, like, the playstyle, you know?
Yeah, it's really hard. I had to, I'm having to do that every week now, too, is I'm having to choose new decks to play for my pure articles, because, like, you know, nobody wants to see me play the same deck every week. It's just kind of, it'll get kind of boring that way. But
how long can you keep that up?
I don't know. As long as JPHSnake starts, you know, as long as Jack starts sending me brews, I can keep it up for a while, I think.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess, like, if we want to talk about, like, that dwelling on the past article, I think my latest one was red deck wins. So it seems I don't know. I think it's like 1 or 2 good cards away from, like, being a real deck. Just needs, like, I think it needs a 1-drop. It really just needs a good 1-drop. I think it's a.
Are you playing enough creatures that you can play mod conscripts, or are you already running mod conscripts?
I'm not running mod conscripts. I mean, like, I can maybe attack once or twice with it, but I feel like, I don't know, like, it's really a different. It's a, like, that, like, one spot is just, like, either Jackal Familiar, mod conscripts, like Keldon, Halberdiers or something like that. I mean, they're not really, or Forge Devil, I guess. I could try to main deck Forge Devil. I think there's enough creature decks out there. But I mean, like, yeah, it's really hard to, like, like that big one slot, the one that goes opposite to, like, a Foundry Street and a Chrome Crusader. Yeah, that's what's really killing the brew right now. It's just like just that one more good 1-drop, and I can and it can be pretty consistent, I think. So it's like, if there's ever, like, a red Elite Vanguard that was common, you know, come on, Wizards, got to do that.
Yeah, they're printing Rakdos Cacklers at uncommon now, so I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No, I mean, come on, what gives, man? Just give me a bone, Wizards. You know, throw me a bone.
Yeah, they seem to think that, like, two power at 1-drop spot is probably at least worth an uncommon.
Yeah, that's true.
Without some big downside to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with downside, right? Mod Conscripts is a pretty significant downside, so does Jackal Familiar, so give us some...
Oh, and Rakdos Caster can't flaw, come on!
Yeah.
Fucking huge, right?
Who wants to do that with a red 1-drop? Nobody wants to block with a red 1-drop. That's not a downside at all.
But I mean, that's not the pitch I'm gonna give Wizards, you know? Like, you gotta love blocking, you know, because
combat math and staying alive.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you play Magic, right? So
yeah, I was playing some Goblins the other day, and Goblins loves blocking. They really do.
It's a really defensive deck. I mean, all around.
Yeah, it's a really defensive deck that can just turn 4 kill you if you're not careful. Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to use, like, a Chrome Crusader here, I think that's basically what you're trying to do with this deck, right? Because otherwise Goblins is just better. You're just trying to make use of a Chrome Crusader, so...
Yeah. The thing about a Chrome Crusader that, like, I've seen some people, like, when I draft Theros, if I'm running red, I'll try getting as many as I can get. Because Chrome Crusader, like, yeah, it's a 1-1, 1-drop, 1-1, which a lot of people, like... For some people, like, I've seen some newer players, they're like, oh, that's no good, it's just a 1-drop one. If a Chrome Crusader is left alone, it is just backbreaking. Because he just keeps bringing dudes out and getting bigger and more scary.
Like, I mean, like, with the new red deck wins deck I made, like, a lot of times you just go, like, turn 1 Foundry Street, turn 2 a Crone Crusader with a Reckless Charge, and that's just 8 damage right there. And, like, turn 3, you don't have to use another card. You just, like, flashback Reckless Charge and, like, do another 8. So, I mean, like, and then, like, all of a sudden, like and a lot of, like, people, because right now, like, Pauper's getting slower and, like, not dirtling anymore. A lot of people are just dirtling around. Like, I mean... Yeah, they don't have the blockers to just handle a Crone Crusader or Foundry Street or any of those like random 1/1. So like, and then before they know it, they're at 4. And like, I play a Circle of Protection. You don't have the mana to avoid it. So like,
go ahead, play nothing during your turn and just stop everything.
Yeah, so I mean that's like the philosophy of my new red deck wins. It's actually like rather than like being like goblins, I think it's more like stompy, I guess. Like but like it's but I mean like I think it's still. But then again, I think it has like one. I think it's about 1 or 2 good cards, a bit short. I'm still like praying for that red 1-drop, you know.
Yeah.
So, we missed anything about King of the Nerds? Like, how was your overall experience with it? Because, like, I assume you're not doing it anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. Like, actually, you can ask me, like, basically you can ask me any questions you want about King of the Nerds as long as you're not trying to, like, spoil the results. So, King of the Nerds, it's pretty, my overall experience was pretty good. I got to meet a lot of interesting people. I mean, like, they do really at least try to, I mean, like, I know, like, with reality TV show casting, you know, like, especially with, like, something as, like, nerds are really proud of themselves, you know, like, a lot of people like to say, oh, you have to be able to do X or Y to be a nerd, you know, like, and so, like, but I think, like, they did a pretty good job in casting, like, we have a pretty diverse set, like, we have a lot of, like, people who, like, who are just generally like students and like who have like are engineers and scientists, and we also have like people who really like who like I guess are YouTube sensations, or I don't know what you call those. We also have people who like have hobbies like that are just like anime-ish or Star Trek-ish, you know. So like I think it's a pretty good balance of like what like your average nerd would be. So I think it's and I got to meet some cool people, and I still talk to each and every one of them right now. So like I mean, like at least for me, I don't really have that many hard feelings towards anybody.
How many were there?
What?
How many were there at the start?
There were 11.
Right.
Ooh.
So yeah, there were 11 at the start. Like, so how the show is broken down is that like so there are 8 episodes, and there are 8-hour-long episodes, I think. And what happens is that like until the last episode, there's a person who gets eliminated like each episode until like there's 4 people left, and then the last episode's like the finale where all but one get eliminated. At each so you start the first episode by picking a team. This is all if you like watch the first season too, I guess. But you pick a team, and what you do at the beginning of each episode is do like a challenge called a Nerd War, which is a team challenge. Like I think there was like one that was like, for example, one of them was like robot dodgeball science fairs. Like those are all things that like you would have gotten from the previews. So you do, that's a team challenge, and then so if you won the team challenge, you're safe. If you lost the team challenge, you have to you have to send one of your people home, which like what you do is you like vote for one of your members, and then the other team actually gets to vote for one of your members as well. And then those 2 people have to do something called a nerd off, which is basically another challenge, a one-on-one challenge, and like the person who loses has to get sent home. So like really like I think a lot of my strategy actually to play that game is to try to like not be the best or worst, because like if you're the best, like the other team, well, if you lose something, the other team's just going to send you to the chopping block, and like if you're the worst, your team's going to do that. So I mean like going to try to like be as mediocre as possible.
I watched a lot of the like Gordon Ramsay shows. I watched Hell's Kitchen and the Master Chef, and that's pretty much what it comes down to on those shows too. The one team wins, they're free from elimination, and then it comes down to if you're really, really good, they try eliminating you. If you've screwed up big time in the last team the last team challenge, they try to eliminate that person.
Yeah, that's
So-
about right. So
You stay in the middle, you're good.
I know, like that's how you live. I mean, I don't, but obviously, you guys have no idea if my strategy worked or not. Dude.
Yeah.
But that was my strategy going in, trying to But actually, it's I feel like I was pretty well adept to that because one of those really weird things about me is that I actually don't know much about Star Wars or Star Trek. So
So that worked out for you, huh?
yeah, I know. I spent too much. After besides because I do spend a lot of time in school and stuff like that, and fencing and magic are basically my only two hobbies. And after that, there's not really much I got, you know.
Well, with going to school for what you're going to school for is lots of study time, and then trying to fit in enough time to play Magic and fence. Yeah, there's not much with only your awake time, being awake during the day. Yeah, there's not much time there to do anything else, really.
Yeah, I know.
Say Nate works at a hotel and he barely plays Magic.
Yeah, I mean, but I try to cram in as much Magic as I can, but yeah, it's not necessarily the easiest, but I try.
So,
Cool.
Any other questions, or?
I don't know. I think you got anything else you want to say about King of the Nerds? It sounds like a really cool show, and I'm definitely gonna watch it.
All right, so yeah, I hope you guys do watch it. It's on TBS, 9 o'clock, or no, wait, it's 9 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, 7 o'clock Pacific. Yeah, something like that. So it's American TV. Sorry, Dan, but you can probably.
Will they have it on the website afterwards?
if you have Hulu, it'll be on Hulu.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, you can probably find it online somewhere. So
I know for a fact it's on Hulu because TBS posts all their shows on Hulu Plus.
Okay.
So you just get it a week later. Like when the show airs on TV, within 5 days of it airing, it's on Hulu Plus already. Because I do nothing but stream. I don't have any regular TV anymore.
See, I was hoping it was like one of those vote things, and I could set up some bots or something on my computer to vote for you 1,000,000 times.
No, it's already over. And I think last year there was a lot of controversy because the winner last year was a popularity contest. So I think they're trying to do away with that.
Yeah.
Because that's being a nerd. That's inherently you're unpopular, right? I mean,
yeah.
Or actually, one of the things that I don't know is I don't really know what a nerd is anymore. Because because everyone says they're a nerd in something, but I mean I don't.
I think my definition of nerd is
nerd. I mean.
Yeah.
Do you have to be unpopular to be a nerd? Do you have to Star Wars to be a nerd? I mean,
I don't think so, because you have football nerds, right? You have those guys who can rattle off the statistics for the
people.
They can rattle off the Chicago Bears roster from 1967 or something like that.
Yeah.
I consider that guy a nerd because I'm not going to memorize that.
Well,
but I think a nerd is basically just anybody who's really obsessed with something. I'm a Pauper nerd, right? I don't consider myself a Magic nerd because I barely keep up with any other formats of Pauper, but I obsess over Pauper, right? That's my thing.
Well, I guess the thing is nerds and geeks. Back when I was in school, I played Magic. We were considered nerds for playing Magic or whatever. But if you look at the way pop culture has gone, pop culture, what we considered back when I was in school, the stuff I was doing was considered nerdy, is now mainstream. So nerd and geek culture has pretty much taken over the mainstream, and your jocks and everyone who played lots of sports, they're the ones that are the weird ones nowadays.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure if you played sports back then, you're still probably sports are still pretty popular right now.
Well, they are, but I
wouldn't say that. I would just say that it's more acceptable to be a ridiculous Doctor Who fan or something like that. It's
it's more acceptable.
It's way more acceptable. It's not a group of 10 people in your high school anymore. It's a group of it's a one out of 4 people probably watch Doctor Who. So that's acceptable.
Yeah, I know that's actually true. There's a lot of Doctor Who fans on the show. I think so.
That's because Doctor Who's an amazing show.
So if you like Doctor Who,
I have yet to watch it, but I want to.
What is your problem? Watch Doctor Who. I'm a Doctor Who nerd too. So
We kind of guessed.
Yeah, so like I mean, yeah, like there are like a lot of the people are yeah. So yeah, just to let you know, I think a lot of the people are yeah, I think a lot of people are Pokemon fans. I think anime fans in general. Like we have a magical girl anime fan apparently, and like there's some pretty big Trekkies out there. So, so if you're interested in any of those things. Not so much Star Wars. I think there might be a like. I mean, I think most people like Star Wars or like on the show, but I mean, like, there's maybe one or two people who are super obsessed with it. So yeah.
Star Trek's bigger.
Whatever.
I have to. There is a Swedish podcast called Mega Nerd, where two pretty hot chicks who are extremely nerdy. Into anime, etc. Try to define what a nerd is.
Oh.
And, I'm going on that show the next time they record, I hope.
Woo!
No.
But it's all in Swedish, sadly.
With you. I might be the king of the nerds. I may or may not.
Yeah, you should be on it. Absolutely.
That'd be sweet. So, hey, I wonder, like, can we, like, go over each week with you? Like, just have, like, a little guest thing every other week or so? Like, hey, Jack, guess what happened on, King of the Nerds?
Yeah, you can. You can. Like, yeah, I can, like, you can do that. Like, I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
That'd be sick.
We'll set it up.
But yeah, so like, yeah, I can like go and give my spiel about what happened. Like, there's gonna be some fun stuff. I'm gonna have some opinions. Don't worry about it.
It's your
This
Pauper the
person was
People
horrible.
confessional.
This person was horrible.
Oh yeah, no, come on. Like, okay, think of it. The other thing that you have to realize on the show is like, it's something that you've never really like. It's something that you can't really like describe until you've actually like been on it. Like the thing is that like I've definitely said things that I would never have said when I was on if I were like in real life about people and stuff like that. Because like the thing is, it's a social experiment. What they actually do is they lock you in a house. You can't in every single aspect of your life is controlled. Like they control like the food you eat, they control the people you interact with, like even like they control like where can you go here, can you go there. They control like whatever fun activities you can have. They make you like do like these activities that like because there's $100,000 involved, and there's and like people get eliminated, and there are some pretty hurt feelings, and like people get mad, and like I guess you have to realize that like a lot of the people, including myself, how they act isn't necessarily how it's going to be in real life,
Yeah.
But I mean, like the other thing is that like besides all the drama, like I think the good thing about King of the Nerds is also a pretty big like proponent of comedy. So like there's going to be a lot of really funny things. So like I think you'd really enjoy watching me on the show.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. I don't get into much reality TV, but if it involves cooking or something nerdy, I'm good. I'll watch that. So. Yeah.
So it's different than most reality TV shows. It's like because like the challenge, like it's not just like 11 drama queens. Well, maybe it is, but it's like drama queens.
We'll leave that up to the show's editors to decide for me who is the drama queen.
But Jack, who was the biggest nerd on the show then, apart from you?
Who besides me? I don't know. They're all pretty nerdy, like.
I bet.
Like I personally think that people who get eliminated early are probably nerdier because like I mean like if you get excluded from nerds, I mean like shouldn't that make you a big nerd?
Ouch.
It should.
So nerdy that not even the nerds will accept you.
That's really bad.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like I think so. I am pretty. So I like what I would say is like people who got eliminated early are probably nerdy, like the nerdiest people out there. So, but you're gonna have to watch the first episode because I'm not telling you who got eliminated first.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got 3 viewers for that. So, hey, I think we've talked enough about King of the Nerds. It sounds really sweet.
Yes, we can talk about the metagame and all that good stuff now too.
Yeah. So, it's
There's
so
a
awesome
metagame.
that you got on the show, and
There is a metagame.
No, there's not.
No, there's
Yes.
There's the King of the Nerds metagame.
Oh man, I'm really interested to see how that goes down.
It's a social game, you know. Just you gotta convince people whether they should kick you out or not. It's just it's very much like the Magic metagame. You gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Do we go into this? Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The metagame. Some of this is older stuff because obviously we didn't go over it last week. Chris did the other show with the announcement of the dailies being gone, which good job, Chris. That was awesome. I was like really sick last week. It sucked.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
I was super sick. I listened to the episode and thought it was great.
Yeah,
It was really good.
Yeah, big shout out to Joshua Clater and Sam McCalkin because they really came through and
Yeah, because I felt horrible having to let people know that because I really wanted to do the show, but I was just sick as a dog. It sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so great job last week, Chris, on that. That was awesome doing that.
Thank you.
So this is an older one. It was the Deluxicoff did his Soul Sisters deck, and he got second place in the 8-mans, which are lame. So that's pretty cool. It's the basic Soul Sisters deck, but just to mention that because Deluxicoff is another one of those people that writes a lot of really good articles. Shout out to him.
Run into an Izzet control deck and lose to that.
Yeah.
That must be rare.
Yeah. So they had that deck there. I played Soul Sisters. It's a fun deck to play, but if you can get, I think I'm playing against it. If you can take out the big creatures that gain life, the deck does fall apart. But other than that, if you can get them out there and just keep playing creatures, you just crush win. It's fun to do.
Like a lot of Deluxicoff decks, beats up aggro and loses to control.
Yeah. So there's that deck. Standard Pauper results. This is another older one. I'm pretty sure there's newer ones. Basically, the metagame's looking like a lot of... What's this one?
A lot of black.
A lot of black.
Yeah.
All the black.
All the black.
There's only 3 of the top 8 are black in this one.
Yeah. So.
It's still 37.5%, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you punched the numbers like that. No, I start to understand why you're on the show. Why you were on that show now.
It's all clear.
Yeah, 38% of the metagame is mono black.
This looks quite healthy, actually.
Yeah, Standard Pauper is looking pretty healthy right now.
I keep
I
trying to
thought
get
it
into
would be
Standard Pauper.
all Grey Merchant at this point, but it definitely isn't.
Yeah.
No, I keep trying to get into Standard Pauper, and it's like, it's so depressing because I'll play something and then I'll lose to like some stupid hexproof deck or something like that, and then like I go to something else and it's like, oh no. So I go to something that can beat the hexproof deck, and then I'll play like against like mono black control or something like that. Like, I hate my life. Right? Screw Standard Pauper.
Well, being that
Well, don't say that about Standard Pauper.
Yeah,
I love
Yeah,
Standard
you know what?
Pauper.
I joined the Standard Pauper Players Clan on Moto. So
Nice.
shout out to those guys, Adner and Bigby and Gwind. They're all like huge advocates for Standard Pauper.
yeah.
Well, I can definitely agree with you, though. It is frustrating losing to Hexproof. And everyone's heard me say before, like, it's the one deck you lose to, and you're like, I don't care. Never again. Like, if anyone's looked at any of my brews, like, why do you have 6 cards for Hexproof? Because never again, that's why.
Jack, I have a challenge for you.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
In February, we are starting the Standard Pauper Gauntlet.
Oh.
So you have to produce at least 3 brews.
Wow, Standard Pauper.
Yeah.
So, like, would that be after Born of the Gods, then, or?
Yes.
Yes, it would.
Yep. It's
All right. Well, I
about
guess,
4 weeks into After Born of the Gods.
All right, so you're giving me a challenge then.
Yes.
No, standard Pauper's card pool is so small though.
Yes.
All right, I guess. Yeah, I'll try a couple brews. I'll see how it goes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So now I'm gonna move over to the shameless plug for that. It's me, Brennan Cerulean on MTGO, and Avery61. Brennan is gonna be the player primarily, and we're gonna run it for about 2 months, starting late February. I'm gonna talk about it until you hate me when the time comes.
No problems. That just means we need to put our bets down again once the gauntlet starts.
Yep.
Sounds sweet. I choose Demir Mill.
I knew you would.
I want to know what our lists are first, but son of a gun, Chris, I was going to call that one.
If not Demir Mill, then Hexproof.
I'm gonna choose whatever Chris doesn't, just because I can.
I'm a big fan of you guys doing exactly what you did last time, which was bet on decks to win the whole thing.
And then you get
and then I get the 5 tickets because
It's 5 tickets. I don't give a crap.
because
You didn't bet 5. You only bet like 2 or 3.
No, I bet
Ding,
5.
ding.
I bet
But you guys
5.
both bet 5.
Whatever.
I don't care. It's 5 tickets. It's like
I was
$5. I don't give a shit.
That was $5 free money to me.
Okay. If you're gonna be excited about $5, my life is good.
I have 3 kids. I'm excited about any money.
Quarter!
I found a quarter the other day on the side of the road, and it was actually really sweet because I had 2 other quarters in my pocket from something else, so I could buy a bag of Cheez-Its from a vending machine. It was so exciting. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So you have 3 kids and you managed to keep your pocket change? That's awesome, because like at my house, I have the pocket change mafia.
Yeah.
They
See,
like
the trick is he keeps it above head height.
That doesn't work.
No.
They jump.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Your
They
kid
can jump over your head.
You'd be amazed what kids will do.
Yeah, no, my kids they don't even jump.
Darn well what they will do, but still.
My kids, they don't even jump. You walk through the door and they know I've been to the store because I use cash now again. And they literally look at me and like, "Where's your change, Dad?"
So they're taking your lunch money, pretty much.
Pretty much. It's. I
Both
walk into
like
the
your own
door.
kids.
I walk into the door to
Wonderful.
3 bullies. I
You know,
walk
I
into
think-
the door
I
to
think-
3 bullies.
I think Nate is the king of the nerds. He's getting bullied by his children. He can literally ground them, and he's getting bullied by his children.
Go to your room after the change. Okay, here's my 35 cents. You go to your room now. We're gonna play with our toys. Okay.
So,
do it.
well,
Although, actually, yeah, one more thing. Like, you can actually apply to be on the show. Like, I think they're casting for next season, maybe sometime later on in the year. So,
cool.
Sweet.
Right.
yeah.
All right.
Do it, Chris.
I don't think I could take my... How long did it take you, Jack? Like, how long was the actual, like, the whole event, King of the Nerds event?
Well, I mean, it was a few weeks, actually. It wasn't really, like, the entire thing was a few weeks long.
Like, I say, like, it was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Well, it depends on, I guess, like, how long it lasts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris, I think.
I'm sorry, that was not me fishing for results there. I was actually like, how long was the whole time frame?
Well,
of the show supposed
they've
to be?
had.
Yeah, like, the entire filming process, I think, is like 3 weeks or something like that.
Okay. I say that was not me fishing for results, Jack. Sorry.
Chris,
It's alright, it's alright.
I'm not a bad person, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I'm giving the link out to TBS, so like they're probably gonna have some fun. They're gonna have I know like they'll tell you if like there's something that like we probably shouldn't be saying, but yeah.
Tomorrow we get a cease and desist order from
Yeah.
TBS. Just, you guys gotta stop this. Okay.
All right.
well, I know for a fact in the past they've had military personnel on stuff like that. So,
Yeah, well, I mean,
Chris,
it's not the
what-
military thing.
what would your application look like? So, hi, I'm this Navy guy, and I'm well-spoken. I have this family and a loving wife, and I'm a nerd, I promise.
I promise.
I'm a nerd. I can talk to you.
Just-
I host two Magic the Gathering podcasts.
Oh, yeah, that's quite nerdy, actually.
it is.
Yeah, it is. I know it is.
I hate podcasters.
What?
Ouch! Love you too, Dan.
Did I say that? Sorry.
So you hate yourself.
Yeah.
All right.
Self-hating caster.
Not. I am my biggest fan, so I think that's okay. I think I can gloat enough. But you know, I'm a pretty big I'm a Doctor Who nerd and like a Supernatural nerd. I love Supernatural, right? And
Good
I'm
show.
a nerd about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But speaking of gloating, you gonna tell us how well you've been doing on the dailies lately?
Yeah, I haven't lost at all. Outside of the premiere event this weekend, I have been top 2 of every 8-man that I've entered, and then I played my first daily event with Theros Block Constructed, and I'm playing this Naya deck, and I went 3-1 in my first Naya, my first non-Pauper event since January. So yeah, I haven't been losing. I played there's one of the brews that Deluxicoff showed off to me and David Schaffer was this hybrid hexproof stompy deck, and that's the second one that I linked right there. So the deck is now the way we have it right now is 17 forests, 4 glade cover scouts, 4 nettle sentinels, 4 Silhana ledgewalkers, 4 Skargan pit skulks, slippery boggles, vault scourges, 3 young wolves, 4 bone splitters, hunger the howpack, rancor, vines of vastwood. And basically the idea is you just want every single one of your threats to be ginormous, right? You can play a 1/1. Your glade cover scouts and your slippery boggles don't have the same utility that they do in hexproof, but they're if you have 2 bone splitters out on the table, it doesn't matter. There's still 5 ones.
They're a pain to deal with.
Yeah, your opponent has to answer.
And they have to if they want to block it, the creature dies.
Yeah, and then and we're capitalizing on this because every time they deal with one of your creatures, you have the threat of one of 4 Hunger of the Howlpacks going morbid. Which
that's always fun.
Yeah.
I love Hunger the Howlpack.
Yeah. So you can make a giant Silhana Ledgewalker or a giant Vault Scourge depending on the matchup. And then even worse, you have the 4 Vines of Vastwood. You have the 4 Vines of Vastwood to protect your creature, so their removal spells aren't even necessarily going to work,
Yeah.
So, even though the creatures look bad and, they don't have the same utility as Stompy and you don't have all the pump spells that Stompy does, it still works deceivingly well. And so that was the first deck that I played with, and I won so much with that deck, but then I moved over.
Chatter of the Squirrel.
Chatter of the Squirrel. That card is so good. I love that card now.
Yay, squirrels!
Cutest Pauper card ever.
It's yeah.
Speaking of the things, since we're coming back to the end of the year too, and we're going to do the year's end review of things, that's going to definitely, I think, a candidate for the cutest card of
Chatter of the Squirrel.
Thanks.
Yeah. So Chatter of the Squirrel. Same principle, right? You're just making another guy. And you're bringing in Chatter of the Squirrel for mono black control. Basically, if they somehow have enough removal spells to take care of all your things, Chatter of the Squirrel still is another thing that you can throw bone splitters on.
Yeah.
And I know there was one game where I attacked my opponent with a 10/10 squirrel. It was pretty awesome.
A 10/10 squirrel is no longer a chatter. That's a booming voice.
What are you talking about? It's the most terrifying squeak you'll ever hear.
Yeah, as it rumbles through the trees. Knocking trees over.
So
don't worry, he's just foraging.
Yeah.
The other deck that I played with, and I moved over to a different deck for my Saturday or for my pure article for Monday, and that was Mono Blue Control. And Mono Blue Control actually won one of the premiere events this weekend. It's a deck by a guy named Serial Kinder.
Yeah.
Is how you pronounce the name there. It's Mono Blue Control.
He's been grinding Delver forever.
Yeah, he's been a long time a Delver Fairies player, but for the premiere events, he moved over to Mono Blue Control, which is an interesting choice that you moved away from Delver, which I think has, it has a much more aggressive plan, to Mono Blue Control, which plays entirely differently.
Yeah.
So I'm going changing things up.
Miscalculation. I love that card.
Yeah. And his list is, I played a slight variation on his list. He has a Mole Drifter in the sideboard, and I have a third Serrated Arrows. But, essentially I played his list. I didn't know that was his list. I I watched one of the replays of him in the event, and I sort of put the deck together based on the best knowledge that I had, and I was 1 card away from his 75. I think it is nice. So I played that, and I'll tell you what, guys, accumulated knowledge really levels up this deck. The card is just absolutely insane in this deck. That it's sort of mana hungry, but you don't want to have too much mana. So accumulated knowledge instead of the think twices it's a huge improvement on the deck. And Dan, I know you love think twices, right? You love the DD fan mono blue control deck.
Yeah.
Well, this deck is pretty similar, with the only exception being that instead of think twices, you're running accumulated knowledge.
Yeah.
I'll try it out after Marcadia Masks are done drafting.
I like accumulated knowledge because I've played a few games against mono black when I had the situation where I had my opponent. I had 2 accumulated knowledges in my hand and I hadn't played them yet. And the guy that I was playing was duressing, and he's like, it's pretty much duress, 2 accumulated knowledge, and it's the one card you don't want to discard. Force your opponent to discard. It's go ahead.
Yeah, but duress makes them discard it, right? They have to discard accumulated knowledge if that's the only card in your hand.
It's funny, though. It's funny, though. It's like, oh, that's fine. Thank you.
And it's also good. I mean, it's also good with Ravenous Rats or Liliana Specters, and these are all cards you actually see pretty often.
Yeah.
So, pitching accumulated knowledge is sweet, and nobody's running Graveyard Hate right now either, so you don't have to worry about your accumulated knowledge is always going to get the value that you want out of it.
Yeah.
And I've had games, and one of them came up on one of my videos that I did, where I accumulated knowledge for 2 into an accumulated knowledge for 3, and my hand went from 2 cards to 6 cards with a fistful of counterspell. So I basically went from
Instamit.
I'm not really sure how I'm gonna win this game to I can't possibly lose this game now.
Yeah.
So
look at all these shiny toys I have now.
Yeah, I mean, accumulated knowledge is just bonkers in this deck.
Yeah, and then Miscalculation is another good card because it's a great early turn counterspell and late turn draw card, which usually draw into another counterspell anyway. So. Who cares?
So there's my plug for my pure article and what the decks that I've been playing.
That's cool. That's all your articles. What else do we have on the metagame besides your stuff? Pauper Battle Royale. Because it's casting commons. It's really bad that dailies are gone, but at the same time, you're starting to see people step up and do player run Swiss rounds.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. And at first, everyone's like, oh, player run events, that's not going to have the real good metagame. If you look at a lot of these player run events, they're starting to mirror the dailies anyway. So there is knowledge to be gained from these events, as much as some people don't like them. Because I know for a fact that Belts isn't a huge fan of the player run events and stuff like that, but I'm glad somebody's picking it up and running Swiss rounds so we can get some sort of snapshot of what's going on. And
Gambling should really run a couple of more play run events now.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, and I think I sent something a long time gone telling them that it's like, hey, this is your chance to really push Gatherling, get people on, Yeah,
they had 34 players in their last event.
Yeah, I mean, people want 4-round Swiss. They don't like top 8s. They don't like 8-mans. I wish Wizards would have realized that, but apparently they're not. Whatever. But I'm glad we got some people taking responsibility of running these things. And from what I've seen for most of these, they're run pretty fairly. They're not really as janky and what's the word I'm looking for? Really suspicious.
Yeah.
Suspicious? I don't know. But no, I'm just glad to see people running them. But I mean, the metagame is pretty much staying the same. In some of these events I'm seeing, it's as if the dailies just quit and they continued, and it hasn't really changed all that much. So that's kind of cool. I like seeing that. And that's the Pauper Battle Royale from castingcommons.com. And then we also have the Pauper Classic Tuesdays, which is run on Gatherling. And again, it's all the decks are pretty standard. You got a Stompy deck here, and we've got a Shadow deck, which is kind of cool.
Shadow deck.
Some Shadow.
It's a ninja deck, and he's running
ninja deck.
He's running Dalico Seer.
Yes, that card's cool.
Yeah, I mentioned that like in my last Dwelling in the Past article. Actually,
yeah,
it was that plus ninja is pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay,
even if they remove the seer, like you still get your card back, you know.
It's like, that's fine. I'll just draw 2 cards. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a sweet card. I mean, like, I just never got it to work really, and like, but yeah, I'm glad somebody did.
So I mean, it's cool seeing that the player-run events are starting to mirror what's really going on. It's kind of cool. So I just kind of wanted to highlight those articles. There's that it's pretty much, it's the meta of what it is supposed to be. So that's kind of cool. That, and the cool thing about Gatherling, when you win these events, you get these really cool tags. They like make a banner thing for you with your name on it and stuff.
Yeah, they're great.
It's kind of cool.
Banner? Do I have a
you
banner?
You get a badge, like when you win any event on Gatherling, whoever designs them, you get like a badge with your name on it, and they put like some really cool magic artwork behind it and stuff.
Well, I didn't win that event. That's so stupid. I 4-0'd it, but I didn't win it.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Tiebreakers or something. I got second place in the standard event. No,
but but like after you get them, I'm not familiar. Like I've taught Mikey K has a few, and I think Mike said after you win them, they give you the link so you can actually post as avatars, so you actually can use the badge in other places. So it's kind of cool.
Every time I play Pauper Classic Tuesdays, there's something stupid happens. Like the last time I played Pauper Classic Tuesdays, I ran like round 1. I was playing Stompy, and my opponent was running Turbo Fog. I'm like, ugh.
Oh,
you gotta be kidding
unfortunately, me. Turbo Fog is just one of those decks where they beat any creature deck.
And the other cool thing about player run events, if you're one of those people that want to get into being a grinder, like Chris and Sneak Attack and those guys, this is a really good way to do it because it doesn't really cost you anything. They don't like charge tickets to run these events. You can just do them for free. So like you're not out anything if you lose.
Yeah.
It's such a good way to train for tournaments.
It is. It's
They're better than the 8-mans in almost
everywhere. You're not out anything if you lose. I mean, you just lose and you're done, and it's not a big deal. I mean, well, it might be a big deal personally, and your world's gonna end, but you're not out tickets or anything like that. So that's the nice thing. So, but yeah, that's kind of what the metagame's looking like. We just have all these results, and they'll be on the notes. I mean, there's lots of decks. I mean, you guys have any decks you want to go over on them?
I gotta plug my Pure article as well.
Yes, go for it.
Me and Chris are on Mondays, both of us. And I published the Azorius Kitty 2.0 list. We talked about it on Competitive Podcast, episode 17, I think. It's my buddy, Power T, who spent 7 years on the Pro Tour. Went over David Schaffer's Azorius Kitty deck and made
I like the first
list
one
of it. Yeah.
Nice slip.
And so there's the deck list and a full sideboard plan for the new Azorius Kitty deck, and some match videos. So check that out.
Cool.
Deck is sweet.
Yeah, it's so grindy and it's so much fun. You gotta draw a ton of cards.
Yeah. Eventually, I want to build that deck and play it. There's such a big list of decks I actually want to build and play. It's like, yeah, it's never gonna end.
You have to love mid-range to play it.
Yeah.
Oh, mid-range.
Mid-range.
So, where's our topic 2? Okay, so yeah, Chris's article.
Topic 2 is
Dan. So yeah, his first day, and we're already putting him on the spotlight and just go. So.
I think I'm gonna do this every week. I did it on the
Yep.
CPC.
I am 100% behind it. So go.
I am quite deep into Magic Finance, only online, and I constantly monitor Pauper prices. And Pauper prices are the most volatile prices on Magic Online. They change a lot. And I think this is a really, really bad time to be sitting on Pauper cards. So because of the loss of the daily events, there is a general decrease in Pauper prices. And tomorrow, or 2 days from now, the Mercadian Masks draft start. And they will reduce the price. Days is already down $3. And days will drop a lot. A lot of the expensive Pauper cards are in Mercadian Masks. So, and it isn't the best of times to pick them up. But if you want to pick them up for playing, though, I don't think you should speculate on Mercadian Masks, because Pauper prices are falling generally, and Vintage Masters is looming like a big axe over Pauper prices. You should pick up your play sets of Mercadian Mask cards next Saturday. So that'll be... maybe around the 26th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't stress this enough, guys. I just got where did it go? I gotta find it. The last time I followed Dan's advice on this, I picked up a metric ton of Mog Conscripts and Mog Raiders at 15 cents each. Mog Conscripts are now 32 cents on MTGO Traders.
Wow, that's one heck of a return.
yeah, it's a 100% return. You know, Mog Raider. Mog
They're 57 cents, aren't they?
Yeah, Mog Raider's 57 cents, I think. The last I checked.
Yeah, where else can you get 300% in a week?
Yeah, well, Mog Raiders are 52 cents now on MTGO Traders. So, yeah, I picked up as many of them as MTGO Traders would let me, and, you know, I essentially doubled and tripled up. And
Nice.
this is a pretty easy pick right there. I'm still waiting on Rolling Thunders to come back up. I picked up a lot of those,
That'll
too.
take some time now with the loss of dailies.
Yeah. Rolling Thunders and Diabolic Edicts are the ones that I also sort of speculated on, and so
I'd like to know from the listeners here how much finance you want to hear, how interested you are, because I could talk about finance all day, but I don't want to bore too many people. So
No,
let me know.
it's kind of good because I mean, for a while in earlier episodes we tried keeping up with it and all that, but it got like when you're trying to scour the realm of Magic and like bring up news on new stuff coming up and all that, it's really hard to keep up with everything. So if you want to keep up with that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I was thinking that I first talk to the players and then to the speculators. So just give you tips about when to pick up playsets and when to get rid of cards.
Yeah.
Yep, that's perfect. I'm all for it.
We should probably get rid of our Mercadian Masks stuff, right? So accumulated knowledge.
Yes, it's already almost too late, but yeah, you should have gotten rid of it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I said it on the CPC.
You know, I had to pick up accumulated knowledge. It was worth it though. I've won so much with Monopoly Control that they've already paid for themselves, so I'm not really that worried.
Yeah.
There'll be one ticket in on the 27th.
Yeah, and yeah, that's another thing with that. Once the prices do drop and stuff like that, that's when I will be trying to get that second account started so we can have a Pauper Cube online.
Oh, that's a good time.
So, yeah.
Sounds good.
People can play some Amdatu rocks.
Just one.
Just one. It's just one.
one.
But
All right.
What are you talking about? I drafted 5.
so, but yeah, that is a thing that we will be working on doing and all that. So, but yeah, other than any more Pauper Finance stuff, Dan?
No, that's it for this week.
Okay. Rage of the Week.
Yeah, we've got a few. I linked to some Twitter, and Peter, if you have to click because this is part of the Rage of the Week.
Okay.
So the first one that I linked is is Salty Losers. If you guys don't follow them on Twitter, it's at Salty Losers, and you'll hear some of the rages of the week before we host them on the show. But distracted again by Skype chat. Thank you, Dan. So this guy, we're just going to start off right now. All capitals. Hate fracking cheaters. It is when you run a POS clock on someone after they disconnect. And Orc replies, "Watch the caps, please." And this guy replies, "Dang caps lock. Yeah, right. As if you didn't know your caps lock was on." And any game on a computer can be hacked. Nothing is ever uncheatable. Just you don't know about it yet, probably. I don't think somebody trying to buy a booster to get in a draft room should be considered a room disturbance. It's associated in a way with room not only for... Oh my god, I can't even read this guy. How do you... We're just going to have to link this guy.
I just like, no swearing, please. What? Swearing? What? You never heard of a frack?
Yeah.
Fugging?
Bulgarian
and the making of thereof is in violation of the rules of compliance. He even put the link for the guy to follow.
Oh my god.
A single letter does not determine an actual swear word.
Neither word is vulgar. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
He's having a yes and no with an orc. This is wonderful. No-uh, yaha, no-uh.
Yeah.
They're both their own words and only loosely associated with known swear words, therefore taken greatly out of actual context. And I've seen a priest use frack and a Jew use fuggin', so ha. That doesn't excuse you from using it on here.
Orcs are given way too much power.
Sure it does. Neither word is truly deemed vulgar.
Yeah, and then I like it. They go back and forth down here, and the orc chimes in again. Vulgarity and the masking thereof is a violation of the rules of conduct. Like he links it again, and it's like he just copy and pasted his previous message.
That's funny.
Oh, so Dan is going to be leaving us in a few minutes. We'll do your shout out at the end, Dan, for you.
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
All right.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Nice being on.
Yep.
Sweet.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
This goes on and on. You'll have to click on the show notes link to this guy because
this is wonderful.
It's really long. So the other link of the Rage of the Week is this guy. Oh man, I didn't do the shout out. Man,
yeah.
What was I thinking? How did you guys let me skip who this was about?
Well, go back to it and say his name.
So this guy, the shout out is to Poppy Kaleo, Papikaleo.
Oh, that's his name. I can figure that out with his like mixed up jumbled just text that we're trying to figure out right here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. So here's your shout out, Poppy. And the next one is brought to you courtesy of Grappling Farang.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
This guy just brings out the best.
Yeah, he brings out a lot of angry people.
Well, when he's made a history of just acing people with Storm, it kind of brings up the worst of them.
So I think he's playing Tempest Draft, Tempest Stronghold Exodus Draft, and this guy who he's up against is Urkon Maria Moose Leitner. Moose Leitner? Wow, that's a really long MTGO name. I didn't even know to let him happen that long.
Yeah.
So,
everything, jeez.
So Grappling Farang casts a big Rolling Thunder on his opponent, targeting everything that his opponent has. And this guy replies, rolling on the floor laughing, or rueful. Yeah, sometimes luck is all that matters. Good for you. Grappling Farang replies, LOL. So then Farang uses the Fire Slinger to kill the other guy's other thing. And Urkon replies, that's how we make money. Without people like you, that wouldn't be possible. Thanks. Yeah, you're losing at this point, Urkan. I don't think that's how you make money.
Yeah.
Farang replies,
so,
ha ha ha.
Exactly, just laughs it off.
Yeah. And Farang then says again, are you ever embarrassed throwing constant temper tantrums in an online game? So Urkon replies, rule of big numbers, sometimes luck just beats skill. And Frank replies, that's cool, man. You tell yourself that all the time. And then Urkon replies, so well done, I guess. And Frank replies, there's no waking you up to reality. And then Urkon replies, rolling on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
And then after Farang goes in for the final kill, he DCs.
Yeah, he loses connection to the game.
DCs on declared attack. Because that happens.
So here's your shout out, Urkon Maria Moose Lightner.
Congratulations.
And that's what we got for Rages of the Week.
Okay. Any more announcements we want to make before we close the show? Yeah, Team Briley has it. How are you on that?
We got
Anything?
a few donations, but
Cool.
not a whole lot.
That's fine. I mean, anything's better. Anything's good. The goal is there's a whole bunch of charity events going on for Team Briley, and we got a whole. We're doing another podcast. There's an IDS building run in St. Cloud or Minneapolis. For those that aren't from Minnesota, the IDS building is the tallest building in Minneapolis, and they're doing a charity event, and the teams are going to start on the first floor and go all the way up to the top on the stairwell. So then they're raising money that way. We're having the New Year's Eve party thing at our house for it, and anyone in the Minnesota area is welcome to attend for that. It's just me and my wife are providing all the food and beverage, and we're just doing tabletop gaming, and it's like $8 per person, and we're just collecting all the money, and it's all going to go into Team Briley, and where the goal is $10,000, which it's slowly coming, but it's getting there. But yeah, so that's where we're at with that. I'll just make when the time comes for the donations for Team Briley, we'll just fill it in with the New Year's Eve charity events. So that's kind of where I'm thinking how we'll do that. But other than that, I got really nothing else. If anyone else has anything.
Nope.
Nope. I guess watch
Yes.
King of the Nerds, I guess. Yeah. Have fun.
We'll root for you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Hope
King of
you
the Nerds.
represent the Magic the Gathering community well.
Hey,
That's
Jack,
cool.
so how come they get in contact with you?
Yeah.
What?
How can they get in contact with you?
How do they contact me?
Yeah.
The listeners.
Yeah, how do listeners contact
listeners, you can follow me on Twitter. JPHSnake is my also my Twitter handle. Yeah, and that's pretty much like how you follow me, I guess. I don't have a Facebook fan page or anything like that. So
you? Yeah. MTGO account name?
MTGO account is also JPHSnake. So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah, send me a message, I guess. Send me a shout out. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
That's sweet.
Right.
What's your stuff, Chris?
I am on Twitter at cweaver8518, and on MTGO it's cweaver.
Peter?
On MTGO, I'm Midnight03. Don't have
And
a
no Twitter.
Nope.
I am nyukon on MTGO. You can get me on Twitter at Nathan Yunkin. And of course, Pauper to the people at gmail.com. And I'm on Facebook too. So, and then how Dan? You want to do Dan's?
Yeah, Dan can be contacted on YouTube channel at Magic Gathering Strat is the YouTube channel. He also has a Facebook page, which is, I believe, facebook.com/Magic Gathering Strat. I'll have to actually look that one up.
Yeah.
But mostly you can find him on the YouTube channel and contact him there. He'll definitely get he'll definitely get the message on the YouTube channel if you leave a comment there for him. Yeah, it is Magic Gathering Strat. There you go. I just confirmed it.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
But if anyone has anything else, we are going to call this a show, throw it in the can, and send it to Chris. This
All right.
is Pauper of the Peoples. Talk to y'all next week.
All right. See you guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
And recording. Okay, we're going to go through this one more time. We'll see if we can do this before we start the show. News. Welcome to Mr. Horning, special guest Jack.
Welcome to Mr. Horning. Welcome, Mr. Horning, to Pauper to the people.
Yes.
God, you can't read your own fucking notes.
Can't say that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm
not
not.
allowed.
Yeah, Dan, you're not getting this video, Dan. Chris has to edit this.
Is it?
Chris, again, when you're editing this, like add these to the bloopers and just like add like random like boat horn sounds and stuff. Just just anything right now because I feel like that's what we need.
Dan will do Pauper Finance.
Yay.
Because I don't like numbers. Yeah, Jack, this is the chaos before every single show. It's awesome.
Before, during too, buddy.
And after.
So, yeah, and after. Alright, so, are you ready, Chris?
Alright, hang on a second.